All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got another video for you guys today and some more interesting stories. We've got a couple physique updates that pertain to the New York Pro. So the first story that I have for you guys today, Hassan Mustafa. There's a couple things with Hassan. So the first thing was this recent physique update that he posted on his Instagram, a video showing off the separation in his legs. So it looks now that he does have a lot more separation in his legs than he had even a couple weeks ago. So whether or not those posts were recent, you can actually see some really good separation in his legs now. And again, obviously this guy has massive quads. Hassan's a freak. He's a mass monster. Pound for pound, this guy is like a Rolly Winkler or like a big Rami. He's just a little bit shorter. So the caption that he has on that video is very happy with the results so far. Who's excited for the New York Pro? Now, I still have Hassan as being one of the front runners in this lineup. Right now, I'm thinking Hassan, Justin, and Nick are going to be the top three. I don't know what order that's going to be. I think, like I said, Justin has a tremendous amount of momentum after that Indy Pro. I think that was a pretty decisive victory and a very prestigious victory for him going into this show just a week later. And keep in mind, Justin did place ahead of Hassan at last year's New York Pro. They both did this show, and Justin placed 2 placings higher than Hassan. So I think in all fairness, Justin has to be the favorite right now. So if that physique update on Instagram wasn't enough, Hassan also posted pretty much a full posing video on his YouTube channel at supposedly 3 days out from the New York Pro, where you can see, again, this guy is a beast. He's a mass monster. Again, the biggest question for me is going to be conditioning on the day of the show. It's kind of harder to tell in this video, in my opinion, because the posing itself, you have kind of a weird view. He's posing in the doorway. It's kind of at a weird angle. Parts of his physique are cut off in the video, but he does look like he is in pretty good shape based on this video. The lighting's really good. His midsection looks a little bit distended, in my opinion. That's the first thing that's really jumping out to me, aside from the fact that this guy is massively huge. The midsection is one thing that stands out. The legs look a lot more separated than they did. I don't know. He looks very full. That's for sure. He looks like he's definitely carved up. I think it's really going to be a question of what kind of shape Hassan is in come the New York Pro. But hey, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. How do you think Hassan is looking? Do you think this will be enough to win the show, to beat Justin, to take away that momentum from Justin, to beat Blessing, to beat Nick, to beat these other really good bodybuilders in this lineup? Hassan has been one of my favorites throughout this whole lead up to the New York Pro, and I still think he's going to be in that top 3, top 2 conversation potentially. Hassan versus Nick or Hassan versus Justin. We'll see. But right now, that's kind of my top 3. That's kind of where I'm leaning, is Justin, Hassan, and Nick to be the top 3 at this show. And we'll see what happens. It all depends on the condition of these guys. But right now, Hassan, I think, is looking pretty good. Now, next up in the news, we have a physique update from Blessing Awodibu, also just 3 days out from the New York Pro. Blessing hasn't posted very many physique updates between the Indy Pro and New York, so this is kind of the first full-body picture that Blessing has posted, giving us an idea of how he's looking going into the New York show. Both other bodybuilders, Hassan and Nick, they obviously didn't do the Indy Pro, and they've been posting physique updates all week. And Justin posted a couple this week as well. Blessing is kind of the only guy we didn't really see much from after the Indy Pro, where he did take 3rd place at his pro debut, which is not a bad placing. It's actually pretty impressive. So I think it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens here. I think it's going to depend on Blessing's condition as well. I actually think his condition at the Indy Pro was really good. I think Blessing was in really good shape. I think it was a good pro debut. I think some people were disappointed that he didn't win because there was so much hype around Blessing, but I do think he looked really good. I think the legs let him down a little bit, but that was really it. I think the conditioning was good. Size was pretty good. His structure is amazing. Let's not kid ourselves. Blessing looks phenomenal. Crazy small waist, vacuum pose, great proportions, pretty good posing in a classical sense. I really do like Blessing's physique. It's just going to be a question of whether or not from a size standpoint and from a leg standpoint, he's going to be able to hang with these guys at the New York Pro. And you guys saw what Hassan's legs are looking like, and that's exactly why I'm afraid for Blessing in terms of the lower body. Look at Hassan's quads, dude. They're insane. But let me know your Indy Pro predictions in the comment section down below. And now a word from our sponsors over at Keeps. All right, guys, I'm happy to announce that today's video is sponsored by Keeps. Keeps is a subscription service that focuses on making it easier and more affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness online with an online doctor consultation and a real doctor, automated shipping and delivery to your home, and constant access to your doctor through online doctor messaging, and by offering generic options of FDA-approved medications for hair loss. Did you know that 2 out of every 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. And with Keeps, the beautiful thing is you can get treated from home. A licensed doctor will review your information online and recommend the right hair loss treatment plan for you, and then your treatment is shipped directly to your door every 3 months. And Keeps is very affordable. Keeps offers generic versions of the FDA-approved medications for hair loss, which makes it more affordable. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/NSP or simply click the link in the description box below to get 50% off your first order with Keeps. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/NSP. Now, next up in the news, a physique update from Wesley Vissers, who is currently 66 days out from his next competition, where he's looking to improve upon his previous showing and qualify for the 2021 Mr. Olympia. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's doing the Chicago Pro. He's done that show before. He says he's 66 days out, which would put him in late July. I believe he's doing Classic at the Chicago Pro at the end of July there. Now, I know we haven't talked about Wesley much since his Olympia appearance, where I honestly think he should have placed a few placings higher. I think he was maybe overlooked. I really don't think he looked that bad at the Olympia like a lot of people said he did. But I'm curious to see what his physique looks like at this next show. If he wins, if he goes to the Olympia again, how he's going to do at the Olympia. Wesley is a very interesting guy. He's got a very interesting physique and a very polarizing physique. And we haven't talked about him for a while because he hasn't really proved himself with the Olympia placings yet. People thought he was being hyped unnecessarily. And then kind of time and time again, he had, I guess, a lackluster placing, you could call it. So people kind of got turned off to the Wesley Vissers hype train. So I'm curious to see what direction he takes his physique for this next show and how that translates to the Olympia stage. For one, I'm excited to see him. I'm a huge fan of Wesley's physique. I just want to see him finally deliver that complete package that the judges want to see in Classic. And maybe he never will, or maybe he does it this year. I guess we'll find out. But I'm still a massive fan of Wesley's physique. Now, speaking of the Chicago Pro, we've also got a physique update from none other than Keone Pearson, who will be competing in 212 there at the Chicago Pro, trying to earn his second Olympia qualification. He made his 212 pro debut at last year's Chicago Pro, immediately qualifying for the 2020 Mr. Olympia. He chose to forego that competition and take some time off to put on size and make improvements to his physique. Here he is again, the second time around, his second pro show in 212 after transitioning over from Classic Physique, obviously. Looking to get onto that Olympia stage this year in 2021. Can he do it? I think yes. Can he potentially win the 212 Olympia if he brings the level of conditioning like a Sean Clarita or a Kamal El Gargani with his physique? I think he will win the 212 Olympia if he brings that level of conditioning. I think it's no question that he could win the Olympia in 212. So I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing what Keone Pearson brings to the Chicago Pro stage. That's a show that I think a lot of us need to be watching for. That's going to be a good one. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, another guy I'm really looking forward to seeing take the stage in October, actually, the Olympia stage, James Hollingshead, who's already qualified for the 2021 Mr. Olympia. He's been posting physique update after physique update, showing the improvements he's made over the offseason, showing the size that he's put on over the offseason. James is a guy that really, really impressed me during the 2020 season. I think he made a really good decision in qualifying early for this year's Mr. Olympia because now he has all year. He doesn't have to do any of these shows. He doesn't have to try to qualify again. He can spend all year just focusing on the Olympia. And I think his showing at the British Grand Prix, extremely impressive. His showing in Spain, extremely impressive. And the thing that I like about James, I've said this multiple times, he brings grainy conditioning, Dorian Yates-esque conditioning because he is such a mass monster. He's such a heavy lifter. He deadlifts like 700 pounds for reps. He's got really thick, dense muscle, but he's not just a guy that comes in big. He comes in shredded, and that's what I like about James. We say that all the time. Bodybuilding is not just a size game. It's great if you're 300 plus pounds. Yeah, you're big in the offseason. Yeah, you look big in these pictures. But James is a guy that is a massive bodybuilder with a dense muscular physique, and he has proven that he can come with crazy conditioning, and that's what I like to see. And I'm honestly predicting James to be a top 10 Olympian this year in 2021. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people with where he places at the Olympia this year. So be on the lookout for James Hollingshead, and let me know in the comment section below where you guys think James is going to place at the Olympia this year. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.